So this video is pretty much a follow-up to the last one I did on Steelhead Fishing 101. I covered a lot of different methods in that video. In this one, I'm going to talk a little in detail about how to do a Softbead Stop, how I do mine. And I'll also show you how to tie a hook, how I do mine with a snell or an eggloop. And I'll also talk about Softbead leader storage and a couple different kinds of Softbeads that I use. So stay tuned. If you like what you saw, give me that thumbs up. And if you want to see more like this, don't forget, hit that subscribe button down there. Tie lines, see you on the water. So first thing I'm going to do is talk about the hooks. This is a Gamakatsu number 4 circle octopus circle hook. This is a Mustad octopus beak number 2. When it comes to hooks and fishing line, it's a whole Ford Chevy conversation. It's, you know, whatever works for you, whatever. Sometimes it's just a matter of what's available. So first thing we're going to do is just put that through the eye, lay that on top of the shank. We're going to do about 10 wraps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, scrunch them up, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 seems to be about the right number for however I'm doing it. It gives me enough good distance for the loop. So now I'm going to hold those loops down. I'm going to take the other end of this line and I'm going to go back through the eye the other way. If I could see what I'm doing here. So now I'm just going to pull that through a little bit, probably about halfway, and lay that line on top of the loops. And then I'm going to continue my wraps. So about 4 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this all the way through, and you'll feel that loop come up through your fingers. Sometimes you just got to loosen your grip a little bit, let that loop come through. Now I have the loop up here. Before I tighten it, I'm just going to wet it. And now I'm going to pull it tight. And there's your egg loop right there. So now you can put a yarn in there. You can put your eggs, coon shrimp. So there's my tag in. I'll trim that later. So now the next thing I'm going to do is put a bead for my bead stop. So that's a 4mm bead. That's my preference. That's a 5. That's a 6. I'm going to do the 4. It's small enough to stop the bead from going towards the hook, and it seems to work pretty well for me. So I like the 4mm beads. Some guys will even use a 3. So what's important is to get your distance from the hook to the bead. So 3 fingers is about standard. You don't want to go any less than 2.5 fingers. 3 is a good optimal distance. So now that I have my bead where I want it, now I'm going to thread the line through the bead at least twice. You can go 3 if you want, but 2 seems to work. So there's 1. Now before I tighten that down, I'm just going to recheck, and I still have my 3-finger distance. So now I'm just going to tighten that down. So there we go. There's our 3 fingers. Right there. Your bead, your soft bead is going to be about right here. So when your fish comes down to mouth it, the whole idea is to pull that right into the side of the mouth. So we'll do one more loop. And that's it, I'm done. So now I'm going to put a soft bead on there. This is how I do my beads. Keeps it nice and simple. So this is a B&R Pro Pack. I bought this several years ago, and they're available in some of the stores. I've kind of customized this. It does come with the Dave's Tangle-Free weights. I talked about that in my other video, but you can see I've got all my custom beads in here. So we'll grab one of these Oregon Tackle 12 millimeters. Oh, it looks like there's two different sizes in there. Wow. Looks like there's 10s and 12s in there. Maybe I'll have to ask Oregon Tackle about that. Well, we'll go with the 10. Now, one thing Oregon Tackle will give you is a threading tool. This if you don't have a threading tool, grab a piece of wire, bend it in half, because all you're going to do is you're just going to poke through the bead. I always try to find the flat spot where the mold mark is. Try to go through the middle of the bead. And so now all you're going to do is take your line and go through the threader. Just pull it through, and now there's your bead with the bead stop about 3 fingers from the hook. That's my preferred distance right there. That's perfect. So one of the things I like to do for a leader, to keep my leaders all in one place, I use these fishing leader boards, which makes it really nice. I could stack 3 of these in a Plano box, and I just take the box with me when I go down to the river or if I'm on the boat. These clusters right here, you could buy them, and they come. What I've done is I've chopped off like one bead, and and then I'll thread these together so I have one nice big cluster like that. I forgot where I actually got these. I don't have the packaging for this, but you can see it's just 2 halves, and I just cut off the one bead on there and combine these 2. So there's my soft bead egg cluster, and I've done the same thing. There's my 4 millimeter bead right there. Now I did have one of those egg bead stops. They don't work very well for the soft beads. They're fine for the hard beads. I've got some right here. These are my hard beads right there, and so the egg stops will work fine for the hard bead, but not for the soft. The soft bead will go over that, and by the time you get it back on the other side, it tears up the soft bead pretty good. So this is how I keep all my steelhead soft bead leaders. This is the fishing leader board, and I've got 3 of them stacked in here, which is enough for me to take down to the river. I don't worry about switching out hooks. I've got different hooks, different colors, hard bead, soft bead, the ones with the blood dot on it. I got some yarnies, some ones with porkies. I've got a pretty good variety here to take with me for the river, and this works pretty well for me. Tie lines, see you on the water.